And then if you've got questions at the end of today, I'm happy to open it up, and you can either put it in the chat roll or you can ask directly at the end of today's presentation. So maybe take a few notes, but you're very, very welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Steve Johnston. A number of you here are my own personal guests, but I've also got team members who've invited guests. So if you don't know me, I am a real estate trainer by profession. I have been a real estate trainer for 20 years. And I promised myself I'd never, ever, get into real estate proper, despite a number of people who invited me to do so through the years. And I held to that, and I stuck to it until about 2 years ago. I got a call from a friend of mine. Well, actually not a friend. It was just an ex-client of mine, someone I'd done training for his organization. And he's now living in Canada. And he said to me, Stephen, you need to check out this company called eXp. They're coming to South Africa, and you need to check them out because there's a great opportunity. And because I get approached a lot with stuff to promote to the real estate industry, I don't really get too excited or enthusiastic. And in fact, I was a little bit negative when he contacted me initially. And I'd never heard of eXp at the time. That is fast changing actually in South Africa. Now that eXp has grown so fast in the country, a lot of agents have now heard of eXp, and it's starting to happen in certain pockets that the general public are starting to hear about eXp and know about us. But at the time, I had never heard of eXp. They hadn't even launched into the country yet. And I think for the first couple of weeks, I called it EPS. For some reason, I just couldn't get eXp into my brain. So that's how clueless I was when I was first approached by this. And I kind of looked at it kicking and screaming because I didn't actually want to go and take the time to look at this thing. And so I guess one of the things that I would say to you today is congratulations for being here. This is an hour and a half of your time. You could be doing other things. I understand that. You're busy. You've got pressure on you. You've got clients in your ear. And yet you're taking an hour and a half to have a look at this thing. And I appreciate that. And I would say to you that as was the case in my own situation, life-changing decisions or life-changing opportunities don't just force themselves in on you. Sometimes they do kind of land in your lap and someone approaches you, as was the case with me, but you have to take a little bit of time to seriously consider what is being said here. And I kind of got there slowly. So this guy said to me, he's out from Canada. He's come all the way to Cape Town to meet with me and a couple of other people. I've got to come down to the President Hotel in Bantry Bay. And I thought to myself, this oak. He was so persistent. And then I said, okay, fine. I went down to the Bantry Bay Hotel. I sat down. He was very gracious with me. I was a bit kind of grumpy. When I look back now, I think I was a bit grumpy. But he then said, hey, do you want something to eat? Have a coffee. And I hadn't eaten all day. I was busy. So I said, yeah, I'll just let me get a sandwich. So he bought me a chicken mayonnaise sandwich. And to this day, he and I both laugh that it was the best chicken mayonnaise sandwich he's ever bought anyone, because things kind of took off. It didn't take long for me to suddenly realize this was going to be a good opportunity. He didn't even explain anything to me, as I'm going to explain it to you today. He just put a laptop in front of me, sitting on this little couch. He puts his laptop on the coffee table in the kind of hallway there. I'm eating my chicken mayonnaise sandwich, and I'm watching this video. And it's an American video, a guy called Brent Gove, who actually has become a friend subsequent to this. And it was all in US dollars. But within kind of 25 minutes of watching this video, like the unthinkable began to happen to me. I began to get excited. And it's like, I can't believe I'm getting excited about this. I did not want to be excited about this. So I went back home. I didn't tell him I was excited. Yeah, he can forget that. So I came back home and I started doing what I'm going to recommend you do at the end of today, if the unthinkable begins to happen to you as well, I'm going to recommend that you do some homework. Okay, now that's what I did. I then got onto Google and I started Googling eXp Realty. I went onto YouTube, Googled eXp Realty, eXp Opportunity, and I started coming across many different resources, and obviously eXp's global website, etc. And I started watching these videos that were available on YouTube and stuff, and I started getting sucked into this thing. And the more videos I watched, the more people's voices I heard, the more diverse opinions that I heard, the more I started to realize this business is everything this guy says it is and more. And I am never going to see a better opportunity in my life than I am being presented with right now. And it took about 6 months from that point for eXp to actually launch into South Africa, because we had licensing issues with the EAAB. You know, they're quite an efficient organization. So it took about 6 months for us to get the license through them, the principal FFC, etc. We launched essentially in January last year. I think I was the second agent in South Africa to join. And since that time, it has been an absolute whirlwind of growth and success stories. And I mean, it has been the most unbelievable journey of my life. This is a phenomenal business. I'm going to give you a little background as to who they are just now and some of the stats on their growth, but it is quite astonishing. I don't want you to take my word for that today, okay? That's why the slide on the screen says I want you to do some homework. What I have done subsequently over the last 18 months or so is what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this page, because the slide on the screen is a screenshot of a website page that we've put up on the Model Explained domain, which I've started, excuse me, where we basically collated a whole lot of the diverse voices and YouTube playlists and presentations that have been given and interviews that have been done, all the stuff that I and others have found helpful as we've done our research into eXp. We just kind of collated it and embedded it in one page. So it gives you a place where you can go and you can just listen to all sorts of people's voices and do a bunch of homework. That link, I'm going to put it in the chat roll, and then I'm actually going to put it up on the screen so you can see the live page. Just give me a second while I drag it across here. Okay, so you should be seeing the actual live page on your screen now. And I'm going to put the link to this page in the chat roll. If you don't know how to open the chat roll on a Google meeting, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little square speech bubble. And if you click it, it opens up that chat panel on the right-hand side. And so I am going to paste in the link for you there. Okay, so that's the link to this page. But if you want to click it now, it'll open in a second tab. Just leave that tab open, come back to the Google Meeting tab. And then when the meeting's finished, you can go to that tab and you can go through the resources. Okay, so there's some playlists at the top. If you click on those three there, those are playlists from a conference or conferences that a guy called Brent Gove puts on every year. He does one in Dallas, Texas. He does one in Cabo, Mexico. And then okay, so both of those are the Cabo replays, and then this is the Dallas replay. If you click on those, it just takes you to the playlist on YouTube, and that's like 20 or 30 sessions with all different speakers, different eXp agents from different places telling their story. I found that really cool because I love hearing people's stories. If you hear enough voices, you start to piece this thing together. Who's Brent Gove? He's got the biggest eXp business, I think, other than Frederick. I think Gene's got a bigger business than Brent, but he's got maybe the second biggest eXp business in the world. He's got just short of 20,000 agents in his group. I mean, you've probably never heard anything like that in your life. Who has got personally a real estate team of 20,000 agents? Well, Brent Gove does. And so he does these huge events twice a year. the Build Conference 2022 was just now. In fact, the playlist is available on YouTube. I should link it here as well. Old, who's the really tall guy, the motivational speaker? Anthony Robbins. Anthony Robbins was his guest speaker at this last one. Okay, so let's scroll down the page. The other guy that I said to you has got the biggest eXp business in the world. I think he's got 30,000 agents in his group. Is a guy called Frederick. Frederick is still to this day the most successful Keller Williams recruiter of all time. So he owned 5 or 6 of the largest Keller Williams franchises in America. He owned the whole of the Northern California region for Keller Williams. He basically built Keller Williams in the western half of the United States. He was Gary Keller's right-hand man. When eXp launched, Glenn Sanford, the founder of the company, approached Frederick because he was Glenn Sanford, the guy who started eXp, is also from Keller Williams initially. And he went to Gene and he said, listen, you like the biggest dog in the pound. I want you to look at this idea that I have. And Gene, after seeing that idea, he went home, he said to his wife, I've just seen the Netflix of real estate. What he meant by that is this is a disruptive business. Netflix don't own one DVD store. They don't own one DVD disc worldwide, and yet they have completely demolished a multi-billion-dollar international industry called the local DVD store. I mean, you remember going down to the local DVD store just 10 years ago. That was quite an experience when you took your 3 kids into the DVD store and you're trying to find the DVD that you want. I mean, today, you would be hard-pressed to find a DVD store in the world. Live streaming has just completely decimated that industry. Well, that's what Gene said to Glenn Sanford. I've just seen the Netflix of real estate. And he sold all 5 Keller Williams franchises. He resigned, he moved across, and he joined right in the early days. And I came across this video somewhere on YouTube where he was giving a talk in a hotel room somewhere, just explaining why he did that. What did he see in eXp? And I mean, he has been proven right in the last, I think he's been with eXp about 7 or 8 years now. Okay, so go and watch that. That's a very successful guy talking about why he moved to eXp. That particular video meant a lot to me. There's a little website you can click here that eXp have got up just for potential agents. You can go and check out what life at eXp is like there. Then there's a commission comparison calculator. This is the little spreadsheet your boss does not want you to see. Just go and do it. It's fascinating. I've got a little video there that explains how to use the spreadsheet. And then if you click that blue button, it'll download the little Excel spreadsheet and you go and plug your own numbers in there. What's your gross turnover from the last 12 months? What is the current split you're on? Do you have any desk fees that you pay? Just you plug in a couple of simple numbers, click the enter button, and the spreadsheet will show you whether you will make a profit or a loss just by moving to eXp based on your current turnover. It's a calculation a lot of agents don't bother to go and make. Okay, then we've got a couple of interviews with the company's leadership. So there's old Glenn Sanford. He is a fascinating, visionary individual. Recently voted as, I think he was either the or one of the top 3 most influential men in real estate in the world. There's a little Q&A with him. And then Jason Gessing is the CEO of the business. This is one of the guys that impressed me most when I was doing my homework. You know, if you're ever going to invest in companies, one of the things that asset managers do is they will do a lot of research into the management of a business. If this business is in good hands, then you know it's going to be a good investment. So I wanted to check out the leadership of the business. And when I started watching videos and listening to this guy, Jason Gessing, speak, I was so impressed with this guy. He is phenomenal, just a phenomenal leader. Go and listen to this little interview that Andrew Thompson, who's the head of eXp South Africa, did with Jason Gessing. Okay, I'm going to talk about eXp's training today and why it's so good, but there's a little video that I've created and I show you the avatar world. There's my little avatar there, and I show myself walking through eXp's campus. and going into some training, and I'll show you how to get to the training calendar. If you click this orange button here, it'll actually take you to eXp's training calendar, so you can see for yourself what training is coming up. And I'm going to talk more about that later today in my presentation. Then a whole bunch of interviews with South Africans. We're only 18 months in to eXp in South Africa, 19 months, but already we have a whole bunch of agents who have excelled. We've got a whole bunch of agents who've capped already. I'll talk about capping later. And it's great to have some local flavors. So you'll see Andre and Lydia. Andre's on the call today. Ferdy Abrams, I think I saw Ferdy on the call as well. Brad, I said how's it to Brad earlier as well. I did see Lisna. In fact, Lisna's photograph is one of those in front of me here. We've got Louise Duplessis and Langebaan, and then we've got a little panel discussion with the 3 L's. Those are the 3 ladies that had capped at the time. It's a fantastic little interview session. Michael Price and PE, who's fantastic on social media. And then Brian Super is another capping agent. He's in Bloberg in Cape Town. So go and listen to what some South African agents, and those are agents who came from all different companies just like yours. Why did they move? What's their experience been like with eXp? Go and watch a bunch of those. Ricky Caruth, I put this in because Ricky is quite a well-known guy in the real estate industry. He runs a free training or coaching program called Zero to Diamond. He was the top Remax agent in the state of Alabama, one of the top in America, and he's got this massive coaching program that he does for free, very big on social media if you follow him on Instagram. And he made some real waves a couple of years ago when he moved from Remax to eXp. And this was a little interview that he did in eXp World. That's in the Avatar World again. I'll talk about the Avatar World later. And I thought, gee, that's interesting. It's about 15 minutes why Ricky Caruth moved from eXp from Remax to eXp. And then some videos on the wealth building side of eXp's model. One of the things I'm going to lead with today is that eXp gives you an exit plan. This is one of the things that makes this business so unique, is if you work the model correctly, you can retire in the next 5 or 10 years by just doing what you're already doing at your current company. So how does that work? Well, there's 2 things, a revenue sharing system and there's a stock awards system. Now, I'll explain later today how those work, but here are some videos on those 2 things. So how profitable can the revenue sharing system be? I actually take you through some example numbers there with a spreadsheet. Jay Kinder, it's one of the most famous oaks in real estate. He was the number 14 most successful real estate team leader in the world. He was the number 2 Coldwell Banker. That's one of the biggest companies in America. Number 2 Coldwell Banker agent in America. And he also made waves when he moved across to eXp. And there's a little interview with him, or he was giving a speech actually. And I took a little clip out of that speech where he's talking about the revenue sharing model. Nolly Williams, one of my favorite oaks in the world. Can't wait to meet him. I'm actually going to the eXp conference. The global conference is in Las Vegas in 4 weeks' time, and I'm going to that. And I'm going to seek this guy out. I want to go and meet him. And I love this little talk he gives on how to get free in 24 months using revenue share. And then this is a little video I did on the stock award system, how you get given shares in the company. Okay. Sorry, that's the shares. What's this one? That's another revenue share thing that I did. Okay, that's a video you can watch on the Model Explained, similar presentation to what I'll do today. And then if you want to get access to the contract that you're going to have to sign when you join eXp, how do you do that? There's a little form here. Just click that link, go and fill in the form, and you'll get an automated email with the contract, and you can read through the contract. Okay, then at the end of today, you're going to see my slides now. The other thing I'm going to recommend you do is book an appointment. Book an appointment with the person who invited you here today. You are going to have lots of questions. I'm not going to be able to cover absolutely everything today, and I'm going to go at some pace, and at times it's going to get a little foggy, okay? It's fine. It's normal. When you see this thing for the first time, it is so groundbreaking. It's so disruptive that it's going to bend your mind a little bit, okay? Book an appointment with the person who invited you. Have a list of questions. If you want to meet with me, we can do a 3-way call with whoever invited you here today, plus myself. I'm happy to do that with you. How do you book a 3-way call with me? You click that little button there, and it takes you to my Calendly page. Calendly is a scheduling app. You can book an appointment directly into my diary. You don't even have to confirm it with me. I will see it in my diary, and I promise you I will be there at the time, and then we can have a chat. No problem. Okay, that's my introduction on the follow-up resources page, and I have put that link in the chat roll for you. Next slide. Okay, eXp gives you an exit plan. Talked about this earlier. There's two ways that eXp allow you to build up some kind of plan to be able to stop working. Now, I do want to just stop and say the obvious, okay? Because it's good to prod a pain point. The problem with traditional real estate, my friends, is that it does not matter how successful you are. And this goes for you whether you own your own company and you've got agents that work for you, or you're just an individual estate agent working for a company. I don't care where you are in the industry. This is true for 99.99% of people in this industry. The moment you stop working, you stop earning. I mean, you guys do the rounds. How often have you worked with a 70-plus-year-old estate agent on one of your deals? I'm sure in your local office, if you're in an office with a number of agents, you've got a number of agents there that are 60 plus, 70 plus. Now, I happen to believe that the most fruitful years of your life are between 60 and 70, and the research bears that out. But I'm afraid that a lot of people are working in real estate who actually would love to be giving their time and attention and energy and their experience in life to other endeavors, but they're having to work. And that goes for you whether you earn 300,000 Rand a year or you earn 3 million Rand a year. You might have earned 300,000 Rand last month, but guess what? You woke up on the 1st of September and you needed to find new stock, market the stock, start your marketing, do your contract negotiations. You got to just you start from scratch every time you finish a deal. This is the problem with real estate. It doesn't give you an exit plan. Do you want to have to do what you're doing now for the next 20 years, or are you starting to feel a little tired? Okay, this is what eXp have done. They've said, we are going to be agent-centric. We are going to allow you to build your own business on our platform, but in such a way that you will build up an ability to stop working. Okay, now how does that work? Well, there's two ways. Number one, eXp allows you to build up what can become a significant shareholding in the company. This is a dollar-based asset that you can build up over time by doing what you're already doing at your current company. So what shares are these? As I will explain later, eXp are listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. NASDAQ is the major tech stock exchange in America, and I'm going to show you how the stock award system works later. Number two, the other way that you can set up an ability to retire is to build up a passive income while you're working as an agent. You're going to keep doing what you're doing, but you are also able to attract other agents to the company. And as you do that, you begin to build up a passive income by sharing in the revenues of the business. This is a fascinating idea. Here's what Glenn Sanford thought to himself. You know what? The most powerful people to help grow a company, a real estate company, are the agents themselves. They're the ones that meet all the other agents. Why don't we incentivize the agents to attract other agents? And why don't we incentivize them properly? Not, you'll get 5,000 Rand on their first deal, or even worse, here's a mug and bean voucher or a car wash voucher for attracting another agent to the office, because that's basically what it looks like. No, this is a completely different setup. Old Glenn Sanford said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start the first agent-owned business in the world. The agents are the ones who own the shares in the company, and the agents are the ones who are going to get paid the revenues of the business. And this is what eXp now do. They pay 50% of all the revenues of the company get paid back to the agents. And that can become a phenomenal amount of money. And I'm going to explain how that works later and how you can get your part of it. Okay, the other thing you're going to notice as I explain the model today is that eXp's model works in such a way that they empower you to run your own business on their platform. So you have all the independence of owning your own business. You're never going to have, as my friend Ferdy Abrams says, someone KPI the hell out of you. I thought that was such a cool phrase. He said he was like a Remax franchise owner and then a Hardcourts franchise owner. He said, I was the guy that used to KPI the hell out of my agents. Where's your spreadsheets? Where's your listings? How many appointments have you gone on this week? How many phone calls have you made? How many doors have you knocked? How many flyers have you printed? Come on. You know, he was like continually driving his agents, and you know that story if you're a real estate office principal yourself. And he says he just loves being part of eXp now because he's got a bigger team. In fact, his team has grown. What's 100 divided by 4? 10, 20. His team has grown like 22 times in 18 months. And you think, how is that possible? I'll explain how that works later. And yet he is no one's principal. He's not responsible for any of them anymore. No one's looking over his shoulder. He's an independent contractor using eXp's platform, and his team is growing, as is mine and many others. Okay, so do you like the idea of owning your own business? Do you like the idea of being independent and not having someone look over your shoulder? And yet, you don't have to start your own real estate company and have a trust account and register a company and have the audits every year and the VAT submissions every 2 months and training agents and owning bricks and mortar office space. And you don't want to start a real estate company, but you want to have the independence of running a real estate. Well, that's what eXp does. It gives you all the independence without any of the hassle and administrative and legal requirements. It is a phenomenal model. So there's old Glenn Sanford. I've told you a little bit about Glenn. You can find out him as you do your homework. That's the eXp South Africa team. We've actually got a team of 13 employees now. I say we. I'm not employed by the eXp. I'm just an agent like you would be. But what eXp do when they expand into a new country, they start a company in that country which they own 100%. This is not a franchise operation. They own the companies all around the world, and then they employ a local staff complement to run the business. So Andrew Thompson, guy top left-hand corner, he is what's called the managing broker, or the broker of record in South Africa. We just call him the principal. He's the principal of eXp South Africa. And then there are 12 other employees who do training, agent onboarding, systems training. So there's real estate training, and then there's systems training. Kelly at the bottom right-hand corner is an absolutely amazing lady. Whenever we have new agents come onto eXp, she's the one that helps them get familiar with the systems and get them up and running and get you into production. We've got transaction specialists, Zayan and Nyari. They work with you on your transactions, making sure that all of the paperwork is in place and FICA's compliant and all of that. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all of the members today. We can introduce you to them. All right, eXp is a disruptive business. There are 4 pillars to their model. When taken together, have created the world's fastest growing real estate company. And they're not just the fastest growing real estate company now. They are the fastest growing real estate company in history. They were started in 2009. Okay, we are 12, 13 years in now. They're a 13-year-old company. It took them about 6 or 7 years to get to 400, 500 agents. So, you know, the beginning growth is always slow in a business, 6 or 7 years. In the last 6 years, we've gone from that 400, 500 agents to, wait for it, 84,000 agents. You just think about that. How does a company grow in 6 or 7 years from 500 agents to 84,000 agents? And we're growing at about 1,000 agents a week. It's mind-blowing. It is phenomenal. Nothing in the real estate industry's history has ever come even close to that kind of growth. We have smashed every record initially set by Remax and then by Keller Williams internationally. We've come on the scene and just completely obliterated all of those records. Okay, so eXp comes to South Africa. I approached The guy is a friend of mine. He's a franchise holder in one of the big country's franchises. And I said to him, I want you to take a look at this thing with me. These were his words to me. This will never work in South Africa. Those were his words to me. Okay, suit yourself. Fine, whatever you think. Fast forward the clock now, 18 months. We've been in South Africa 18 months. You know, how long's that? That is nothing. We are now, just from the last few days, we are now in the top 10 real estate companies in the country by agent count. We've got 625 agents in South Africa, puts us in the top 10. The other 9, now I'm just quoting Michael Valdez, who's the head of eXp Global. Michael Valdez said to me, the other 9 in South Africa have all been in the country or been in existence for longer than 30 years. We've been in the country 18 months, we're already in the top 10. We are on track with the growth that we're experiencing to be the biggest real estate company in South Africa in the next 3 years. And I would put money on it that we will be. It is doing in South Africa what it has done all around the world. So in the last 2 years, eXp have started their global expansion. They've gone from 4 countries, which they were at stable for the previous few years. They were in America, Canada, the US, and Australia. Over the last 2 years, through Michael Valdez's leadership, as they brought him on, we have gone to 17 other countries. We're now in 21 countries, and we are opening, they're hoping to open 3 or 4 countries per quarter now. The next 3 countries to open are Chile, Poland, and Dubai. We're very excited about Dubai. A lot of South Africans have got contacts in Dubai. In fact, we've got a guy in Dubai already who's champing at the bit to join. You're going to say, well, what's that got to do with us? And they're open in Dubai. Why is that opportunity for you? Just give me time. I'm going to explain it to you today. When you see the global opportunity that this thing presents you with, if you understand it, it will blow your mind. This is the most phenomenal thing you've ever seen in your life. Okay, 4 pillars. Number 1, a phenomenal technology platform for you to run your own business in real estate. Number 2, the best training of any real estate company in the world. Number 3, the business is owned by the agents. You get given shares in the company, US dollar-based shares on the NASDAQ stock exchange, just for doing what you're already doing in your current company. And lastly, you can build up a significant passive income through their revenue sharing system by attracting other agents to the company. Okay, those are the 4 pillars upon which eXp stands. And it is those 4 pillars taken together that is completely redefining the industry and is doing so in South Africa. So what I'm going to do for the rest of today is I'm just going to go through those 4 pillars one by one and give you a little bit more detail on them. Okay, so number 1, a phenomenal technology platform. I've talked a little bit about this in and out as I've been waffling on through my introduction. But eXp, they own a company called Virbela. So they own it 100%. Virbela, a number of years ago, had created an avatar world, a piece of software that allowed people to join in a kind of online physical space, a 3D space, where people from all over could meet and yet do it from the comfort of their home. Okay, now, as you stand there, as you sit there, that is not like a groundbreaking idea. We've just been through COVID. And what COVID did is it shook the world into a whole new workspace, whereby we're all familiar with Google meetings now and Zoom meetings and webinars, and half of us are working from home. You know, this is something which is not new to the real estate industry now, but it was like 2-3 years ago. Well, eXp have had this avatar world for the last 13, 12 years of their existence. And here's the power of this. We're in 21 countries. We've got 84,000 agents worldwide, and eXp do not own one building. They don't own one building. Now just think about that. If you were to take all of the bricks and mortar expense, and I don't want to pick on any particular company, but let's just take an international example. like a Remax, okay, or a Keller Williams. These are very successful businesses, and they have wonderful companies. Okay, nothing against these businesses. I'm just taking it as an example. You take a Keller Williams, for example. If you were to add up all of the money that is spent through the global head offices, the kind of federal head offices, the regional head offices, the international head offices, the provincial head offices in all the countries that Keller Williams operates in, all around the world, and then all of the local market centers on the street corners of all the prominent streets in all the cities of the world. If you were to add up all the money that is spent on the bricks and mortar of those businesses, do you know how much money it would be? We are talking hundreds and hundreds, if not billions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of US dollars spent on rental, insurance, desks, administrative staff, air conditioning, computers, networking, internet, electricity. I mean, just the expense of the physical expressions of real estate is enormous. Now, here's what Glenn Sanford said 13 years ago, ahead of his time. He says, none of that is necessary. You can run a perfectly good real estate company that is based 100% in the cloud. You do not need bricks and mortar. You say, oh, well, that'll never work. You've got to have office frontage, main road. You've got to have the office with the stuff in the windows. And my friends, let me ask you this. How many, great listings have you picked up in the last 12 months by someone wandering into your physical office and saying, I want to give you a listing? Well, just ask yourself that question. Where are you getting your listings from? It's not people wandering into your office. Well, does it work? Well, why don't you ask 84,000 agents if it works? Why don't you ask 625 agents and counting at eXp South Africa if it works? I've got a whole bunch of agents, and they can tell you in the chat roll. You don't have to listen to me. You can take their word for it, that since they've moved to eXp, they work from home, and their production has gone up. I can introduce you to agents that have said that when they moved to eXp, their business got better. Now they're not having to go to office meetings. They're not having to drive to an office. They're not geographically limited in where they can sell. They run their own business from home, and yet they have got the best technology, the best collaboration and teamwork and all of that. Okay, so this is what Glenn Sanford did. We're going to sweep that big pile of cash. We're going to just sweep it off the table. And we're going to say, that big pile of cash that was spent on bricks and mortar, we are going to create some kind of incentive scheme that says this pile of cash, instead of keeping it, can get paid back to the agents. The agents are the ones that are going to get this cash. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of money getting paid back to the agents. Okay, potentially, as the business grows. I mean, already it is hundreds of millions that gets paid out to eXp agents globally. Okay, so this phenomenal technology platform for you to run your own business. Second, sorry, not second pillar, the details around this, yes. How much does it cost to join eXp? 800 Rand to join, and then in order to be an eXp agent, it's going to cost you 800 Rand per month. Now, 800 Rand per month, let's think about that. If you were to start your own real estate company and register with the estate agency, the Property Practitioners Regulation Authority, the PPRA, if you were to register with them, start a company, open a trust account, get local offices, start recruiting agents, I can tell you now, it's going to cost you a lot more than 800 Rand a month. As you're going to see, this also includes all of the stuff that you would need to get for your company, like Property 24 membership, like private property membership, like a Lightstone membership or a CMA account. All of that stuff is included in your 800 Rand a month. You get your entire business for what you need for 800 Rand a month. That is absolutely nothing. Okay, what split are you on with eXp? Now listen carefully. You are on a 71-29 split. Okay, what is 71? Why 71 when it says 75 on the screen? Well, if you look, okay, 75, 25 there, but if you look at the bottom point on the screen, trying to get my mouse to go big there, it says 4% international. So I was actually sitting with someone from, am I allowed to say the company? Well, I am, it's just the truth. Okay, this was a Remax agent the other day I'm sitting with. She says to me, Stephen, I am on a 50-50 split with Remax. It's one of the options that she has at her local office. Fine, no problem. And she says, so I do deals and I get 50% of my commission, but then, oh, by the way, there's also a 10% like a national franchise fee or international franchise fee or something that comes off. So she actually ends up with 40% of her commission because there's, oh, by the way, there's this other thing. Okay, now, I don't want to do that to you. It's a 71-29 split. 25% goes to eXp South Africa. Okay, just bear that in mind. That's going to become important in a second. 25% of your commissions go to eXp SA. A further 4% go to eXp International. So let's just call it what it is. You're on a 71-29 split from the word go, and you get paid 71%. No other deductions. You have to make your own tax arrangements. So they don't take the PAYE off. They pay you the gross amount. You make your own tax arrangements. Okay, but there's more good news. The 25% that you pay to eXp South Africa has a cap on it. So if you do 100,000 Rand gross commission, you're going to pay 25,000 Rand to eXp South Africa, right? That's 25% goes to eXp SA. So if you then do another 100,000, you pay another 25. Your gross commission is now 200,000 and you've paid in 50. When your gross commission gets to 600,000 Rand, you would have paid in 150,000 Rand to eXp South Africa. And from that point onwards, eXp said to you, you've paid us enough for the year. Until your birthday again, your birthday for when you joined eXp, you're not going to pay us anymore. You've capped, you're going to keep it all. All you pay from that point onwards is just the 4% to international. So what does that mean? That means for the first 600,000 gross commission each year, you pay 29% to eXp. Once you've capped, from that point onwards, you keep 96% of your commission. How does that sound? So we've just had Ferdy Abrams has just capped for the second time. He's been with eXp 2 years. He's capped both times. And now I think he capped after 2 months or 3 months. Ferdy, you can put it in the chat roll if you're in the room. But for the next 8 or 9 months, Ferdy is keeping 96% of his commission. And he's got all the benefits of being a member of eXp with only paying that 4%. It is a phenomenal system, guys. That's why that commission comparison calculator that I showed you on that follow-up page, go to that thing, download that spreadsheet, put your numbers in. It automatically works out the capping system and all of that, and it'll show you how much more you will make by moving to eXp. All right, hopefully I explained the capping system clearly. You can just speak to the person that invited you if you don't understand it. What do you get for your 800 Rand a month? Well, you get obviously access to all of eXp systems. You get access to the avatar world where we do all of our meetings. You get an eXp South Africa email address. You get a profile on eXp's website. Obviously, like any other real estate company, all of your listings go onto eXp South Africa's website. You also get, through our listing system that you have access to, obviously, you load your listings on our system. It's called REP, R-E-P. You load your listings, they syndicate automatically from there to P24 and to private property. Okay, do you pay extra for your clicks and for your leads? Now, that's a question that a small business owner or a principal is going to ask because you are used to having to pay for all the clicks and the leads. No. Unlimited listings, unlimited clicks, unlimited leads. It's all included in your 800 Rand a month. You get a Lightstone membership and then all the kind of links that get generated through the eXp website that you can use for social media, etc. There's a little screenshot of our listing system. It syndicates not only to the local portals, but it gets syndicated to 35 international portals through eXp Global's relationships. So if you do market property that is attractive to overseas buyers, you're going to get a whole lot of exposure to buyers all over the world. And then through the eXp agents overseas, you can also reach very effectively through the relationships that develop with other eXp agents globally. So have a look at our listing system. Get the person who invited you here today to show you the listing system. That's what you're going to be working with on a daily basis. It's a fantastic system. It's user-friendly. Okay, we have got a Facebook app called Workplace, and then it's kind of partner Workchat. What is Workplace and Workchat? As I said, it's basically Facebook for companies. It is a Facebook app, but what they do is they ring fence the community for just that company. And this is the most unbelievably powerful tool because it works just like Facebook. You can form groups. You can invite agents all over the world to join the group that you form. Let's say there's certain investment opportunities or commercial opportunities or whatever it is that you work with. You can form groups, invite agents to join them. You can reach out using Workchat, which is kind of like the Facebook Messenger option, directly to people's phones. So if you want to, as an eXp agent, you can send a message directly to Ricky Caruth's phone. You can send a message directly to Glenn Sanford's phone. I haven't actually tried it, but I've heard agents that have done this, and Glenn Sanford replies to them. It's like having their personal WhatsApp. I have reached out to very successful agents in the States for other reasons that I wanted help with for my team in South Africa, and they've got back to me. They were willing to help me. They've done meetings for me, one-on-one meetings with people I've wanted them to meet in South Africa. One of the things that you are going to be, I can't actually describe it to you, how collaborative this business is. But I've had agents say to me, Stephen, before I came to eXp, one of the things I was scared of was that I was going to be isolated because there's no office to go into and drink coffee with people and whatever we do in our local offices. It's like this cloud-based business. I thought I was going to be alone. Now that I've joined eXp, I realize it is the most collaborative, family-friendly, cooperative, friendship-building culture environment I've ever been in real estate. Again, it's very difficult for me to explain that to you. It's something that you have to experience. This is the most unbelievably collaborative business in the world. Nobody is fighting with anybody else about my this and my that, and that was my lead and my listing and my area. It just doesn't exist in eXp. We're all on this journey together as business owners. We're partners. We're collaborators. We're collaborators. We are on this like groundbreaking, pioneering journey together. There's this real pioneering spirit within eXp. We really do support each other. And again, just ask the person who invited you here to talk about their experience, because as I say, it's difficult for me to express that. And Workplace and Workchat are a great way to foster that internationally with other agents. Okay, what does the branding look like? Well, like any other company, you get templates if you're going to brand yourself as an eXp agent. There's the gray and white versions, and you can download all of the artwork. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's artwork for your boards, for your decals, for your vehicles, for listing flyers and business cards and brochures and boards. All the stuff that you're going to need is there for you, okay? There's also the orange and blue versions of the corporate branding, which I like. I think it's beautiful. Love their branding. What I really want to talk about on the branding, however, is the flexibility of eXp's approach to branding. You've basically got one of two options when you join eXp. You can either trade as an eXp agent, and we are seeing a lot of agents do this. Why? Because eXp is becoming a well-known brand in the country, even after 18 months. It is, if we carry on with our growth, which, I don't want to labor the point, guys, but 625 agents in 18 months. Nothing in South Africa's history has ever done that. We're on track to becoming the biggest real estate company in the country. If that is what's going to happen, it just makes sense to benefit from the growing power of this brand. So why not just brand yourself as an eXp agent? Okay, all of the artwork is there. However, if you are in a position where you've got an existing business, where you've been building up a local brand, let's say you've got a company called Lighthouse Properties, and everybody in the area knows Lighthouse Properties, you don't want to lose the goodwill that's attached to your brand. Well, you don't have to. With eXp, you are allowed to trade as your own brand, simply powered by eXp. And we see a number of agents do this. So Andre and Lydia, Andre's on the call here today. They've got a very strong brand in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, Team Lydia and Andre, and they've just gone with Team Lydia and Andre, powered by eXp. And we've got, who else has done this? I mean, we've got Lynn Inch on there, who's Inch Properties. Lisna and Daniel, her husband, they've got a brand of their own, Realtor SA, and they've now got a whole bunch of the people that have joined their team. They've all actually collaborated to build this new brand, Realtor SA, and that's becoming strong. They're also in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. So you're welcome. Let's say you've always had a dream to be, I'm just going to pick the name I'm looking at, Johan van Zyl. You've always wanted to be Johan van Zyl. Sorry, Johan. I'm just looking at your face. Johan van Zyl Properties. You know, you've always had this dream to have your own brand. You're allowed to do that. Brad Neal, who was one of the top agents in Joburg. I'm looking at Brad's little card there. That's what he did. He created a brand, Brad Neal Properties, powered by eXp. And it's his own colors, his own board layouts. You're welcome to do it. So it is a very flexible approach, which I love, to branding. So I do need to say one other thing about this. Ferdy Abrahams, who joined us, he had a company called Prosperity Real Estate. He had 10 agents, 6 of whom were unproductive. He was sick and tired of being a principal. His monthly expenses for his business were between 60 and 80,000 Rand a month. I showed him eXp. He said to me, Stephen, are you telling me that I can keep my brand? I can still be Prosperity Real Estate powered by eXp. I can close my bricks and mortar. I can close my P24 account. I can close my private property account, my Lifestyle account. I can basically fire my whole company, bring them in. We can still be a team. We can still trade. And my monthly expenses are going to come to 800 Rand a month. I said, yep. He thought long and hard about it. In his own words, he said 1 minute later, he closed his business. Literally was that. 1 minute later, he went back to the office. He fired his wife, was his administrator, and his daughter was his agent coordinator. He said he fired them both, and they joined eXp. 4 of the agents, the ones who were productive, came with him. Ferdy's business now, and he's been in it just over, I think he's in 16 months now. After 16 months, those 4 agents have gone to, I think it's 104 or something. It's over 100 agents in just 16 months. And his monthly expenses now are 800 Rand a month. And yet he's not lost his brand. They still trade as Prosperity Real Estate powered by eXp, but he closed the actual legal entity of the business down. It's just a marketing face that you now wear. Everything else is closed behind the scenes. There's no memberships. There's no CIPC. The company doesn't even exist anymore, but he's kept the face. That is very powerful. Right, we move on. That's all Kyle Whistle. He did the same thing. You'll see just a lot of people know Kyle Whistle. He was voted the top agent in the world using video. And he's based in Chicago. He made waves a few years ago when he moved his whole company across to eXp. But they've kept their brand. So they are now the Whistle Realty Group. And in America, they use Brokered by eXp. Okay, so hopefully I explained that well enough. That's pillar number 1, the tech platform. And that's a little bit about what it's like working for the company and what the split is and all of that. Okay, number 2, training. I said to you earlier, eXp provide the best training of any real estate company on the planet. Now, I realize that's quite a bold claim, but I'm going to justify that claim for you now. There's 2 reasons why there is no company in the world that can compete with eXp's training. The 2 reasons are, number 1, the amount of training that's offered. Number 2, who's doing the training. Okay, so let's talk about the amount of training. eXp have got a standalone division called eXp-U that puts together months and months in advance the most comprehensive training, and it's all live. There is pre-recorded training, and there's like a 30-day program and a 60-day program and a 90-day program that we do in South Africa for either interns or new agents or agents who just want to kind of touch up on their basic skills. We've got all sorts of pre-recorded programs, but the live stuff that's happening that eXp-U do, they plan months in advance, and you can go onto the training calendar and you can see there is between kind of, I don't want to exaggerate, but there's probably 40 to 60 training sessions a day happening. in eXp world. Now, how is that even possible? I remember being invited to a Keller Williams office actually in Somerset West a number of years ago. They wanted me to do training for their staff. And I mean, it was a beautiful market center that they were just launching in Somerset West. And I remember being led through this beautiful office space, desks and computers and the black and red trim. I mean, they really do a good job with their market centers. Went through to the back, and the lady who was the team leader there, she pointed at the training room at the back, and she said, "That's our dedicated training room. And we're going to do at least 2 training sessions every single day." Now, for a local physical office, that is a lot, because you need a great curriculum to be able to have high quality training twice a day. And then you've got to get all your agents together, and they've got to do training physically. They've got to come to the office and do it. And then the question is, who's doing the training? Is there someone who is a good trainer? Well, with eXp, it's not 2 training sessions a day. It's between 40 and 60 training sessions a day. How's that even possible? Here's how. We have an avatar world. The whole business operates without bricks and mortar, but you do training in auditoriums like this. This is a mind-bending experience the first time you do it. You create a little avatar, you download the software onto your computer, you then go into a facility like this, you click on a seat to sit down in the seat, you can look at the person next to you, you can move your head around, you can talk to the person next to you. "Hi, my name's Stephen, I live in Cape Town, South Africa, where are you from?" And Anna will say to you, "Oh, I'm in Texas," or "I'm in London," or "I'm in Chile," and you can chat to them. At the end of the presentation, you can walk up to the speaker on the stage, you can talk to the speaker, you can introduce yourself, you can get their details, say, "Hey, I've got a few questions I'd like to email you," and you can start collaborating and building relationships internationally. I tell you what, it is a phenomenal experience. Now, before you think, well, that's a bit gimmicky, it's a bit like an Xbox game, just think about this, guys. You can go from a training session, go through their training calendar, and you see, okay, there's coming up a session on social media marketing. That looks great to me. I want to do that. That's in the London auditorium. So you go into the London auditorium. Straight after that, there was a session on negotiation skills happening in the Icon Auditorium on the American campus. You leave the London auditorium, you click go to at the top left-hand corner of the screen there, you can teleport through eXp World. You teleport yourself to the Icon Auditorium. The next thing, you've gone from London, being trained by the top agent in Britain, to now the Icon Auditorium learning about negotiation skills. And guys, you haven't left your computer. You're sitting in your home office and you're doing training all over the world. And how much does it cost eXp to put that on? Nothing. They own the software. That's why they can do 40 or 60 training sessions a day. If you were to go through that calendar, you will see that there are sessions happening all throughout the campus of this avatar world every single day. Right, the second reason I said it's so good is who's doing the training. eXp have got an award that you can win, or a status that you can attain, called Icon status. This is a bit like your company, I'm sure, that's got this, come up with these groovy names. We got to call it the super duper double triple green emerald club, or the platinum award, we all have these like groovy names we come up with for our top agents. Well, eXp have got the same thing. They call it the Icon Award. Makes you sound important, doesn't it? Well, if you want to be an Icon agent at eXp South Africa, here's what you got to do. In South Africa, you got to do 5 million rand gross commission. So I think you'll agree with me, that's a pretty successful agent. In eXp, if you do 5 million rand gross commission, you will walk away with, I think it's like 4.7 million rand. So could you be an Icon agent? I don't know. Well, what happens if you become an Icon agent at eXp? Listen to this. It's phenomenal if you think about it. They take the 150,000 rand that you've paid in a long time ago, because if you're an Icon agent, you probably cap in the first month. And you've paid in your 150, then you keep 96%. They take that 150 and they give it back to you in the form of eXp shares. So they convert it to dollars, you get 150,000 rands worth of eXp shares. So how much does it cost the Icon agents globally to be at eXp? If you're an international agent, it costs you 4%. That's all you pay. Even the 25% that you paid in gets given back to you. That's why some of the top agents in the world are coming across to eXp, because it's virtually free to work for the company if you're going to be an icon agent. But there's a catch. In order to get your 150,000 rands worth of shares, you've got to do 6 training sessions in eXp world. It is a very clever and well thought out system, because what they've done is they are now incentivizing the top agents in the world to train the other agents. Right? Like, that doesn't happen in most companies. The most successful agent in a company is not going to be spending time telling the other agents how to do the secret skills of what they are actually doing right now to be crushing it as they are in the real estate community. Well, this is what happens in eXp. This is not theory. This is not stuff that worked 20 years ago. These are people who are busy crushing it, teaching us how to do what they are currently doing. And you can attend, there's probably 10, 15, 20 icon sessions every single day in eXp world. And you can go to it for free as an eXp member. And you can introduce yourself and build relationships. It is absolutely phenomenal. Okay. Next, agent owned. Okay, I just want to talk through very quickly how the stock award system works. I said you get given shares in the company. Well, eXp listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. I think it was 2017 that they listed. That's the board of directors. And, you know, on the day that you list on one of the major stock exchanges in America, so this is the stock exchange that Facebook is on and Google is on. So it's a major, it's not one of the penny stocks. It's a major stock on the stock exchanges there. You get to shut down the world markets, the chairman of the company. So there's a really cool pic of old Glenn Sanford shutting down the world financial markets at the end of the day when eXp listed on the NASDAQ. So how do you get given shares in the business? Well, when you join eXp, they open a trading account for you with a bank in America called Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley administer eXp stock award system internationally. So you get a Morgan Stanley account they set up for you, and you get a dashboard through Morgan Stanley. It's called ShareWorks. And you click on your ShareWorks account and you go in and you can see live, real time, all the shares you've been given, when they vest, what their current market value is based on today's share price. It's quite cool. You can go in and check your current market value of your share portfolio. How do you get given shares? Okay, the gray block on the right-hand side, top and bottom. There's 2 different schemes here. The one at the top is called Agent Equity Awards. These are shares you get given for free, mahala. Okay, now on the left-hand side of the screen in the white, there's 3 ways you get given shares. There is a 4th way through the Icon Award, but I've already gone through that. You get given 150,000 rands worth of shares if you become an Icon agent. Let's look at the other 3. The first deal you do every year with eXp, you get given 2,000 rands worth of shares. What they do is they convert it to dollars, and then if it's kind of a half a share, which it'll always be, it'll be like, it won't be exactly the number. They actually round it up. So they buy an extra share for you. So if you would have got, say, 12 shares for your 2,000 rand or 12 and a half shares, they'll then just give you 13 shares. That gets put in your Morgan Stanley account. And that's every year, the first deal you do, calendar year. So in January, February, March, whenever you do your first deal, they get 2,000 rand. Then when you cap every year, if you cap, you do 600,000 rand gross commission, you've paid in your 150,000 rand now. They say, hey, congratulations for capping. Here's 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares. That just gets added to your Morgan Stanley account. Boom. Then if you attract another agent to eXp, now I'm going to get into this later. This is the last pillar, but you do need to understand how this works for now. Nobody can join eXp worldwide without being sponsored. It doesn't mean they pay for you. It's just a word they use. Without being sponsored or introduced by an existing eXp agent. So when you fill in your contract to join eXp, you've got to put an existing agent's name on your contract, who is the person who introduced you to eXp. They become known as your sponsor. Now, when you attract other agents, you invite someone to a webinar like this, or you show them the video. Okay, there's a 29-minute version of this presentation, short and sweet. Unlike today. Short and sweet version. 29 minutes. You don't have to explain this to anyone. Just show them the video. Where's that video? Maybe one of my team members can put the link in the chat here. It's very simple. It's at themodelexplained.co.za. Themodelexplained.co.za. Take someone to that, or just email them the link, WhatsApp them the link. Say, hey, watch this 29-minute video. Tell me what you think. They watch it. They say, hey, are you joining? This thing looks amazing. You say, yeah, I think I'm going to join. They put your name. You are now their sponsor. Okay, simple as that. When they do their first deal with eXp say, hey, congratulations, you just attracted a productive agent to the company. He has 4,000 rands worth of shares. Now, that's very powerful, because if you show the video to 10 people and they join and they do at least just one deal, you're going to get given 40,000 rands worth of shares. And that's in a US dollar account, and you can just leave that as the share price continues to climb, which we trust it's going to do as this business continues doing what it's doing. What could that be worth in 5 or 10 years' time? I remember looking at my ShareWorks account after 6 months. I'd been with eXp for 6 months. And I thought, oh, let me go check my shares out. Went onto my ShareWorks account. I could not believe what I was looking at. 150,000 rand, because the share price had gone up at the time. 150,000 rands worth of shares that are just being given. And now these shares on the left, the ones you get given, they do take 3 years to vest. That means you don't take legal ownership of them for 3 years. So I still can't sell those shares, and I've been given a whole bunch more since then. I can't go and sell them yet. Some of them are I need another kind of 18 months, and some of them are a bit longer, because from the moment you get given them, you got to wait 3 years. Why do eXp do that? It's a retention scheme, because if you leave the company within that 3 years, you forfeit the shares. And you know what? Fair enough. They're giving us the shares. Fair enough. It's a brilliant retention scheme. Okay. Then there is another form of shares, back to the right-hand side here, that you can, so that's the ones you get given. The ones at the bottom here, this is a different scheme here called the Agent Equity Program. I think this is the most phenomenal opportunity. Ask yourself, does your current company do this? What eXp will do is, if you elect to participate, it's voluntary. When you sign the contract, I would strongly recommend that you tick that block that says, do you want to participate in the Agent Equity Program? Yes. Why? What they will do is, every time you do a deal, they will take 5% of your commission, and they will purchase eXp shares for you at a 10% discount of what the market value of the share is, the trading value of the share, either at the end of that day or at the end of that month. I can't remember where they peg the value of the share at, and they give you that 5% at a 10% discount to the trading price. Now, if you own those shares immediately, you can actually go and sell them the same day and get your 10% profit if you want it. But I would suggest to you that would be foolish. Pretend that doesn't even exist. Because you know what we're like. If money gets put into your account, what do? You spend it. Or somebody else who's got the credit card, if you've got a joint account, somebody else spends it. The money disappears if it lands in your bank account. If money never lands in your account, if it just goes somewhere else, you forget it even exists. That's what I would suggest you do. If you do a calculation, let's say you want to use the stock awards program as an exit plan for real estate. You want to build up an asset. If you were to work as an agent for another 10 years, what would your gross commission be over 10 years? Now, you take 5% of that, getting put into this Morgan Stanley account at a 10% discount, and what will the share price do over the next 10 years? Share prices go up and down, and eXp's share price has gone up and down. But if you look at the trend over the last 3 or 4 years, eXp's share price has gone up something like 6 or 7 times. Now, what will it do over the next 10 years as this company continues to expand? You could potentially be sitting on millions and millions of rands worth of shares in 10 years' time, and you didn't even have to know about it. It was just coming off your commissions. Guys, this is a phenomenal opportunity to build up an asset base for yourself through the Agent Equity Program. Okay, the icon award, I've done that. Okay, I'm going to finish with this. We got about 20 minutes left, and I probably won't take all that time, but I'm going to just tell you how the revenue sharing system works. Again, I want you to get the principle here before I show you how it works, because if you're going to have certain connotations to the model here, which I want to dispel up front. All eXp are doing here is they are saying, we make a whole lot of revenue from estate agents working as estate agents, just like Pam Golding as a company makes a whole lot of revenue from the split that they have on their agents and then the local franchise fees that they charge. Same thing with any other real estate company. They make revenue from the splits. Now, eXp is the same. It just so happens that they cap the amount that they take from you. They take 25% until you've paid in 150, and then they don't take any more. But that still adds up. Now, they've got a whole bunch of revenues internationally. What do they do with that? Well, because they don't have any bricks and mortar, they don't have to spend a whole bunch of that revenue on their expenses, which is what happens with normal real estate companies. They've got this massive pile of cash that they don't know what to do with. Here's what they do. They say they are going to split that. They're going to cut that down the middle. 50% of that revenue, they are going to give back to the agents. And it is an enormous amount of money. So this is simply a revenue sharing system, because this is a business that's owned by the agents. Guys, I can almost hear singing in the background and some kind of chorus, because, you know, if you get the principle behind that, it is phenomenal. How does it work? If you attract another agent to the company, okay, you don't get paid for their joining. That would make it a pyramid scheme. You know, what Bernie Madoff does is he charges joining fees. You give a bunch of cash to join the system, and that goes to the person at the top. That's not what this is. You attract another agent, they choose you as their sponsor. When that person does a deal as an estate agent, they've produced revenue for the company. Then eXp says, okay, we will pay you a small amount of that revenue. In the case of tier 1 agents, that's agents that you have personally enrolled. They have chosen you as their sponsor. They are on your tier 1. eXp will pay you 3.5% of their commissions. You are sharing in the revenues of the business. Okay. Now that, if you work it out, up until the point they cap, it can be up to 21,000 Rand a year. Now, obviously, after the person in white, let's call him Joe, after Joe caps, he's not paying revenue to the company anymore. He's keeping it all because he's capped. So from that point onwards, you don't get your revenue share either. So you get paid every month as Joe is doing deals until the point that Joe caps. At that point, you would have been paid 21,000 Rand on Joe's transactions. So it's up to 21,000. It's not all or nothing. If Joe only half caps in a year, no problem. You get paid on a monthly basis. And at the end of the year, if you added it up, you would have been paid 10,500 Rand on Joe's transactions. Okay. And you don't have to just enroll one person. You can enroll 2 people. Then you can earn up to 42,000 Rand a year on their transactions. Okay, so somebody asks the question then, when they're thinking of this model, how do we share the revenues of the business with the agents? Well, what if Joe, the person in white, what if Joe also has a friend that wants to join and Joe becomes that person's sponsor? Well, in that case, the person Joe sponsors is essentially on what now has become your tier 2. So Joe's on your tier 1 and Joe's friend Mary is on your tier 2. Now, yes, Joe is going to start earning revenue share on Mary because he is her sponsor. But what about you? eXp says, okay, Mary wouldn't be around if you hadn't introduced Joe. So we're also going to give you some of the revenue on Mary's transactions. And in fact, in their model, they pay you more than they pay Joe. You get 4% of the revenue of the deals being done on your second tier. and that works out to up to 24,000 Rand per year per agent. And what eXp do is they have a 7-tier system. So you will earn revenue share on the agents all the way down through 7 tiers of your organization. And here are the numbers. You earn up to 15,000 Rand on agents on your 3rd tier, 9,000 per agent on your 4th, 6,000 on your 5th, 15,000 on your 6th, and 30,000 on your 7th. So your 7th tier is actually your most profitable tier. You earn 5% of the transactions happening on your 7th tier. Now, one last little bit of detail. Okay, I know it's a little bit technical, and we can explain this to you in more detail when we meet with you personally. But I do need to tell you this. You do not automatically earn the revenue share on tiers 2 to 7. You do automatically earn on tier 1. From the moment you've sponsored one person, Joe, you are getting your revenue share on that person, no problem. But Mary on tier 2, you have to unlock your earning on Mary's transactions and your other tier 2 agents. How do you unlock tier 2? That's this number on the right-hand column here. You have to personally sponsor 5 active agents on your 1st tier. So you've got Joe, he's an active agent. If you want to unlock your earnings on tier 2, you need to add 4 more. Joe plus 4 more people that you personally enroll on your 1st tier. When you've got 5 active agents on your 1st tier, okay, not your granny, not your dog, active agents, okay? There's a certain criteria. It's a very small criteria, but they have to be active. When you've got 5 active agents, they unlock your 2nd tier of earnings. You now start earning on Mary's transactions. And so it works its way down. You need 10 active agents personally enrolled for your 3rd tier, 15 to unlock your 4th tier, 20 for your 5th, 25 for your 6th, and you need 40 active agents personally enrolled if you want to unlock your 7th tier. And thus ends the lesson on revenue share. Okay, I know that was a bit technical, but anyway, that's how it works. Here's one of the most phenomenal things about this. You don't have to sponsor, and nor does Joe, and nor does Mary, and anyone in your organization. You don't have to just sponsor people in South Africa. You can sponsor anybody in any country in the world where eXp operates. And it is as easy as sponsoring your next door neighbor. They just put your name on the contract when they fill it in, whatever country they're in, they put your name as their sponsor, and from that moment onwards, you begin earning revenue share every month on their transactions in their local currency, translated back into rands, and it's put into your bank account every month. And if the person that you knew in Dubai or in the UK or in America, wherever they are, if they know people and they start building a team of their own, you're going to earn revenue share on that entire team's transactions in that local currency, translated back into rands, paid into your bank account every month. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story now, because you've got to understand the opportunity that that presents to you. I coached a guy named Frank Brisson. Okay, Johanna, so you got a question. Can we get to questions just at the end of today? Okay, so I've coached a guy called Frank. Frank lives in the south of France. He got hold of me through Udemy, which is where I've got a course, and he's a Frenchman, lives in the south of France. I coached him for a few months. It was difficult. The language barrier was not great. His English wasn't great. My French was even worse than his English. We had a great relationship. I taught him a thing or two, but it was just too difficult, so we parted ways. When eXp launched in France, I sent Frank an email. I said to him, Frank, I want you to look at this company, watch this video. And I sent him my model explained video. He watched it. I never heard from him. 6 months later, I get an email. The email says, hello, Steven. Sorry. I don't know why I find that so funny. Hello, Steven. And all the email said is, I want to join. So I said, awesome, Frank. I got onto eXp France's website. I quickly found the join link, like the link we're going to give you for South Africa. I found the one on the French website. He clicked it. He filled in the contract. He put my name as his sponsor. I tried to communicate it. I saw whether he joined. I tried to communicate with him after he joined. Again, I tried to teach him a few things, language, a problem. In the end, he just gave up on me because I can't speak French. He's now on his own in France. He's doing his thing. As it turns out, Frank wasn't the most active agent in the world. About 3 months went by, nothing, no revenue share, whatever. Then I got a particularly large revenue share payment 1 month. And I only picked it up a couple of months later. I did a little transaction count of all the transactions I got paid revenue share on. Now I get paid on average about 2,000 Rand, 2,500. Sometimes it's more, sometimes less, based on how big the transaction is, on all my South African agents. So per transaction, I probably make 2,500 Rand per transaction. Okay. I'm going down the list. I suddenly see, hey, Frank did a deal in France. My revenue share on his transaction in France was 12,500 Rand on one transaction. Why? Because it's euros. Now, Frank hasn't sponsored anybody else. But if he were to build up a team of, say, 10 people, guys, if you wanted to start a real estate company in France, what would you have to do? You'd have to learn French. You'd have to travel to France. You'd have to get some kind of license to trade as a real estate company. You'd have to get whatever qualification is necessary to be an agent in France. You'd need to get a bricks and mortar office on some street in France. You'd need to administer, take on all the expense of that. You'd need someone to administer the office. You'd need to then buy desks and furniture. You'd need to put up a sign and start recruiting agents. I can tell you 100% certainty there is not one person on this call today that is going to start a real estate company in France, or the US, or Canada, or the Dominican Republic, or Puerto Rico, or Panama, or Mexico, or Colombia, or Brazil, or India, or Israel, or Italy, or Spain, or Portugal, or Greece, or Germany, or the UK, or Hong Kong, or Australia, or New Zealand, and the next 3 countries to open, or Dubai, or Portugal, or Poland, or Chile. You're not going to do it. With eXp, if you know people in those countries, or you know people who know people who know people in those countries, you are going to end up with a global offshore income through the revenue sharing model. It is unavoidable if you do introduce people in South Africa. I'll give you a case in point. I sponsored a guy called Ferdy Abrahams. Ferdy sponsored a guy called Andre Forster. Andre and Lydia, they knew a guy who worked in Durbanville who is now living in Dubai. As soon as the Dubai market opens, they're trying to get their licensing with the Dubai government at the moment. As soon as that opens, his name is Kobus. Kobus is joining in Dubai, and he wants to build a team. He knows agents. He's got a list. He just can't wait to start showing the model there. So here's what I predict is going to happen. Dubai is going to open. Kobus is going to join, and we're going to start ending up with a whole bunch of agents in Dubai who've joined my team. And I didn't even know the person. This is how it happens. You know people who know people who know people in these countries. You're going to end up with an offshore income. This is the one time that I have been glad that the South African Rand is weak. If an American agent sponsors agents in South Africa, they earn like 4 times less per transaction than they do on their local agents. In South Africa, we earn 4 times more on any of these other countries than we do on our South African agents. Jeez. Guys, I'm telling you, you've never seen anything like this in your life before. All right, if you don't get it after that, I actually don't know what to say. It's like, I don't know what to say. Right, let me give you a static example. It's never going to work this way. I know it's not this linear, but just an example. If you were over 5 years to say, okay, I'm going to build up my stock awards, I'm going to keep working as an agent, but I'm going to give a little bit of time every week to just introducing this to other agents. Hey, take a look at something with me. Please watch this video. Simple as that. And over the next 5 years, you were to sponsor just 2 people per year. Could you do that? Okay. What did I do? In my first 12 months, I sponsored 60 people. 60 in 12 months. I'm saying, could you sponsor 2 in 12 months and do that every year for 5 years? If you did that, you would end up with 10 people. Okay, you're not shooting the lights out there. Trust me, 10 people over 5 years. If they were all to do the same, 2 people per year for 5 years. Now, I know that's the part that's never going to work that way. Some will do more, some will do less, but just for the numbers. You would end up with 110 people in your organization after 5 years. Okay. Now, what would be a nice income? Now, don't be ridiculous because it's only 10 people you've enrolled here. What would be a nice income to supplement your sales income? And remember, this is passive income now. It just gets put in your bank account every month. Well, on an annual basis, what this would translate to, this little picture, would be up to 2.6 million Rand per year, passive income. You say, is it possible to build an organization of 110 people in 5 years? Well, I've built an organization. This morning I checked the numbers. It's 395 agents in my group after 18 months. 395. So I've got more than triple that in my group after 18 months. Why? Because I'm clever? No, because this is the most agent-centric, the best compensation model, the most attractive, the most brilliant real estate model on the planet, and that is why it is growing so fast. You cannot stop this thing from growing. You just can't stop it from growing. I couldn't stop my organization from growing now if I tried. If I said to all 395 people, guys, I'm sick of eXp, we're leaving, we're starting Flower Petal Properties together, they'd all say, good luck, pal. With Flower Petal Properties, we're staying with eXp. That's what would happen, and it would continue growing. Kathy, maybe you'd come with me to Flower Petal Properties. Okay, what do you do from here? Next steps. Do some homework. Please do some homework. That's that page. Okay, you should have the link open on your computer. Whoever invited you today, if they know what they're doing, they're going to WhatsApp you the link or email you the link after today. Go and do some homework. Then book an appointment, either with me or the person who invited you. Just get together with someone, because you've all got 1,000 questions and you've got objections and you've got fears. And what about my restraint of trade that I've signed? What about my deals that I haven't registered yet? Or what about rentals? Or there's all sorts of questions, and don't worry, there's answers to all those questions. Let's do it in a conversation. Number 2, go to the Join app on eXp's website. Don't worry, we should rename it. It's not the Join app. All you're doing when you go to that link, please somebody put that put this link in the chat roll. When you go to this link, all it does is it takes you to a page that looks like that. Click the button that says Explore eXp at the bottom there. Sorry, it's covered up there. Click Explore eXp. That will take you to a page that looks like that. Terms and conditions, yes, I accept. Click I'm ready. It's going to take you to a page with a form. Fill in the form. You are not joining eXp when you do this. All you are doing, actually behind the scenes, all that's happening is it triggers 2 emails from eXp's system to you. First one's just saying, hey, welcome, thanks for filling in the form. And then the second one comes a little bit later in the day, has a link to the contract in it. You don't want to join a company if you haven't read their contract. It's 40 pages. It's written by a lawyer. Some of it's a bit American. There's nothing in there you need to worry about. I know the contract well, but you're going to have questions. Go through the contract. Make notes of all of the clauses that you don't understand, and then bring those questions with you in the follow-up meeting that we're going to have in the next few days with you. So go through the contract. How do you get access to the contract? Go to that link. Okay, thank you, Paul Murray. Let's put the link in the chat roll. Then, my last piece of advice is do a Save Me Beta test. What's a Save Me Beta test? Okay, that's where you phone a few of your best friends in real estate and you say this to them. Joe, I just saw something this morning that has actually made me excited, and I don't want to make a mistake by pursuing something that actually isn't what I think it is. I need your advice. I need you to look at this thing with me and just tell me if you think it is what I think it is. Would you be willing to just jump on and have a look at a video or come on a webinar and give me your feedback afterwards? It's like, save me if I'm going to do something stupid. Okay, this is such an effective way of introducing the people closest to you, because you're not trying to sell them anything. You're asking for their advice. Okay, now you've got a number of options here. Take them to the modelexplained.co.za watch the 29-minute video together. Another option, I'm doing one more of these live Model Explained presentations next week, Friday. Same time, same link. Same link you click today, next week, 10 o'clock. Just send the link to them and say, trust me for now. Don't ask me any questions. Don't try to answer questions. It's going to sound like Amway. Okay? You don't know how to explain this thing. Just say, just trust me for now. Come on the meeting with me and let's have a discussion afterwards. So invite them to the live event next week, or just take them to the Model Explained. Okay, I think that is it from me. Thank you. We're at 11:30, right on time. I will hang around if there are questions. You're welcome to put your microphone on and chat, or put a question in the chat roll. But if you want to get on with your day, God bless you. Thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate the time. I really do. I hope you enjoyed today, even if you don't join us. I'm glad you took the time to take an intelligent look. I respect that. Thank you. And I look forward to meeting those of you who do join the team and come on this journey with us.